Lord, I'm a puny little creature, the dust from the dust. If you were with me, I can be your mighty instrument, Lord. Bless me, Lord, so that I might break your word worthily to your people. Amen. God's blessings to you, my dear people. We are entering the second week of Advent, the week of hope. And in one parish, I had to meet a lady who came in complaining, "Father, my son doesn't come to church quite often." And just ask him. He's very friendly with you. Ask him what's going on to him. So I just caught hold of this guy and asked, "Hi, I saw you only last year Christmas. After that, I didn't find you anywhere in the church." And he answered me, "Father, don't you ever read the word of God? To be one day with the Lord is equal to 1,000 years. So don't search for me for 1,000 years. It is a convenient selection of the word of God. We neglect a beautiful truth that is behind that. Today, the first reading and the second reading is interwoven, interconnected beautifully. The first reading, Prophet Isaiah prophesies about the coming of Emmanuel. And he says, when Emmanuel comes, the valleys will be leveled and the mountains will be leveled. What does he mean by it? You know, people of Israel, they were living in an anxiety of war all the time. You know, I worked amidst people who were affected by war. So I know how traumatic for them, even a small sound somewhere heard, they become restless, anxious, that they are being attacked. So the people of Israel, they were always living in an anxiety. So they dug bunkers. The moment they hear of war, they would run and hide themselves in the bunkers to save themselves. And there were many valleys. These bunkers looked like valleys. And they built up a huge mountain so that they can claim at the top of it. Their arrows will become powerful when they throw the arrows from the top of the hill. So, every time they looked at this mountain and the valleys, they are reminded of this traumatic feeling of war. So what will be in the coming of Emmanuel? These valleys will be filled. The mountains will be leveled, which means there is no need for war. It is only peace, love and joy. So the coming of Emmanuel will level everything to be equal. There is no rich and the poor in the church. Everybody is together as one family seated in front of the Lord. And we are being leveled to be one. And that is the message of Christmas. To be equal. And to respect each other in the family equally. And there is the birth of Jesus Christ. You know, the Greek word evangelion means when the king announces the word, the world changes. That is the good news. So the Greek word evangelion means when king commands something, the whole world has to follow. There is nothing to question. But most of the time, what the king commanded wasn't the good news. Sometimes it was very destructive. My dear people, at the birth of Jesus, the king commanded that all the children of that particular age should be killed. That was an evangelion, good news from the king. Was it really a good news? killed so many people. So the good news is from the Emmanuel, who came to serve, not to be served. The good news today is Jesus Christ who is going to be born. The hope for those people. So the good news levels everybody together, and we become the good news for one another. My dear people, the good news, John the Baptist announced that the one who is going to come after him, going to baptize you in the Spirit. It's a good news, changed everyone's heart, brought them together as one family. During the Second World War, one of his friend's soldier died. This friend carried his body and he wanted to give him a funeral. He went to a nearby church, knocking the door of the priest and said, "Can I bury my friend in your graveyard?" The Catholic priest asked him, "Is he Catholic?" And he said, "I don't know whether he's Catholic or not, but he is a good human being and my friend. We bury only the Catholics inside our graveyard. So if at all you want to give a burial, just outside our fence, you can bury him." Anyhow, he wanted to give a lost respect to his friend. So he buried him just outside the fence and went back. After a few days, when he got a chance to come back to pay the respect to his friend, he came back to the graveyard. He didn't find the sign of his friend being buried there. And it's all leveled. And he got annoyed. He went back to the Catholic priest, knocked at his door, said, "How can you do this? You told me to bury him just outside this fence. I don't find any sign of he being buried there. What did you do?" He said, "My dear friend, the day I directed you to bury your friend just outside the fence, I went to bed. I could not sleep. My conscience kept on pricking me. I just got up. I extended the fence and put him inside our graveyard." My dear people, the Catholic Church invites the extension. Why? We all compartmentalize people into pigeonholes. My husband is a very terrible person. My wife is a spender. My children are always a problem. We have put them, compartmentalized them. Extend your territory. Level the ground. Treat them equally. Your unconditional love can change people, may make people to experience the peace, love and joy that Emmanuel comes to give to us. And let's make this Christmas a meaningful one by leveling the ground, looking at each other face to face, giving a warm smile, giving each other the kiss of peace, and God's mercy will engulf us to be